TradeFinder is a feature in OptionVue to help you exploit your prediction for where an underlying asset should go. It's tremendously powerful. Let's go and take a look. Here I've created a group of assets that we will explore. First, you want to make sure you have good data in the matrices for each of these. Let's bring up the matrix. I'm going to scroll through these, bring in the real-time data, and make sure we have good data for the matrices. Then I'm going to highlight the one I'm most interested currently. Click on TradeFinder. This brings up the TradeFinder screen. Notice that we have 6 different tabs up here. We begin with the far left one labeled Assets. I can bring in the currently selected asset, IWM. Later I'll bring in the whole group of them. Let's bring in just IWM. Now let's explore IWM by going to Targets. And here I can select a target, a prediction, if you will, of where IWM should go. I could go to Price Chart. This is one way of doing this. And let's resize this so I can get the recording in here. One moment. All right, there we go. Let's bring this down. And I can go to the Enable Target button, bring up that little box, drag that around a bit, and let's say that I'm bullish here. So I'm going to drag this box, resize it to where I think this should go. Let's highlight this, move this box around a bit. Maybe we'll keep it up below that pivot point there. Drag this up, something like that. All right. Perfect. Something like that. Okay. Now, when I close this, that target box got loaded up right here in terms of the price and the dates. Next, I'll go to Strategies to exploit that target box, that prediction, so to speak. I'll look at long options. I'll look at credit spreads and diagonal credit spreads. Down here, I can click on Select all of these strategies, deselect all of them, or select only those that are covered type strategies. I'll leave these 3 in place. Next, I'll go to Goals. I'll put in $2,000. I'll compare these based on profit and loss. Note that I could have an existing position in IWM, and then TradeFinder will help me exploit that existing position and even throw in some trades to scale the trades and bring it into delta neutrality. I'll leave these out for now. Go to Filters. I can filter out the trades so that the minimum price to buy, in this case, is a nickel. Minimum price to sell, I'll put 30 cents. I don't want to sell anything under 30 cents. And I'll leave these filters there, and I'll leave these alone. You can explore those yourself. Quite sophisticated. When I'm done, I'm going to hit Go. And the system is now going to go through the whole matrix of IWM, looking at those 3 strategies in a way that's going to exploit that particular price prediction I defined through the use of that rectangular box. I'm going to pause the recording while this thing loads up. Okay, here are the results. You'll see that in this case, diagonal credit spreads were found to be the most advantageous in terms of ranking them just based on expected return. And we can also rank in a variety of other manners, including a ratio of expected return to worst case return, expected return divided by the standard deviation, that's interesting, probability of profit, etc. All right, once you have one you want to look at, just highlight that particular trade. You can click Analyze, and it will bring up the graphic analysis with the target region shaded right there. Very good. And we can go to a few others. Let's go to this one, bring this one in, Analyze, and there we go. And we can then scroll through them in the order that we just brought them in. All right. Let's now take a look at analyzing multiple underlying assets at once. Let's go back to Assets. Well, first I'll clear this out. Down here, under Selected Assets, let's bring in all 3. Let's go to Targets. And when we want to assign a target to all of them, we could click on each one separate and assign a target, or we can click on this ellipsis button that says Set All Targets. Bring this up. And in this case, let's go and set all targets in terms of a bell curve. We could do it, through price and price range. Let's do a bell curve. We're going to center this thing 5%, each bell curve 5% to the upside. We'll make it equal to the current statistical volatility plus or minus 0. And let's go 30 days into the future for that bell curve. All right. Click OK. It's going to update all targets for each of these three right here. Okay. Then let's go to Strategies. And let's find, in this case, the best vertical credit spread out of all three of those. How about that, to take advantage of that target for all three of them? We'll leave it at $2,000. Now, one thing I want to mention is that we could go and if you find that your results are just outrageously positive, you may want to go and look at the matrix. And let's bring up each matrix. And what I'm going to do is go to Model, and let's make the slippage set on small for each of these. How about that? And we want to just make sure that we're going to use some slippage, because that can make a big, big difference. All right, when you get some results that are just unbelievable on the positive side, well, make sure you're incorporating slippage and commissions into these. So let's do that. Go back to TradeFinder. Got our filters in place. And let's go ahead and now hit go. And I'll pause the recording and wait for this to cycle through. And here are the results. This is very instructional, because we had a very aggressive target. We adjusted the bell curve's center to be 5% on the bullish side in 30 days. That's very aggressive. So what happened is that we have our first trade in terms of ranking by expected return is this credit spread in the spiders. All right, a fat expected return. Let's analyze this. All right, and notice that the target is the bell curve adjusted upward 5%. So instead of this being the bell curve, it's now set up here. And this has, if you take those 11 data points from across this spectrum, you have the highest expected return. You can see over here. Okay, now let's re-rank these with the ratio of expected divided by worst case return. All right, now that's over the course of the target. Worst case return, assuming the target comes to pass. That would be the bell curve. Let's go to this first one. Analyze. And you could see that the worst case return out of this entire bell curve is probably that data point right there, which is a positive number. That's why you have a positive worst case return there. Notice when we go to expected return, we have a very low probability of profit. That assumes the current bell curve, not the adjusted one for the target, the current bell curve. If we analyze, notice that for the current bell curve, we're only in the profitable area, a small portion here, in fact 23%. The rest of it is that we're underneath, we're underwater there. Okay? So that's the effect of the target. It has dramatic effects on what results you get. All right, I hope this has been instructional. Please get into TradeFinder, play around with it, see how powerful it is. Make sure you're using slippage and commissions to get your expected returns in the ballpark of reality, and watch your target setting. It's very important. Thank you.